I mean, what I will say is unpopular and not the majority opinion. But I said from the get-go, in print, many times, in fact, I said in this room, I think, that the package that was being offered was not strong enough. It was not large enough. And when people squawked about the size of the package, I said, hey, if you want a smaller package, show me a smaller problem.
This was the first time around.
Yes.
Yeah,
And what I mean, the first conversation I ever had with Clinton's people, Larry Summers and people told me that their estimate was that they would need a package that over 2.5 years would be about $1.4 trillion. And that was based on the assumption that that in that fiscal year, the economy was only shrinking by about 3.2%. Figures came out about 8 months later showing that wasn't true. In fact, the economy that year had slipped by over 6%. And now the latest figures show that it had slipped by about 9%. So the hole was much larger than anybody thought. And one of the reasons for that is because of the peculiar timing of the recession. When FDR came into power, we were at bottom for 2 years. And so everybody knew how bad it was and how deep it was, and you had 25% unemployment. When Obama took over, we were still in free fall, losing 600,000 jobs a month. And they thought that the hole was much smaller than it needed to be. I mean, than it turned out to be. And so Summers said they needed $1.4 trillion. And then they got pushed down to $1.2 trillion. And then Rahm came to me and said, you know, Dave, don't you really think we've got to keep this under $1 trillion or the country will be so shocked that it'll be hard to get anything done? And I said, Rahm, it's just the opposite. The country needs that shock value so they understand just how deep and profound this problem is. The second thing I said to him was, don't make the mistake of thinking you can come back for a second kick at the cat, because that ain't the way it works. It's going to be tough enough getting people's votes this time. And if you make it too small, all you're going to do is to piss off everybody in the country because you spent money, but it isn't big enough to really impact the problem. And in the end, they came in with an $800 billion package, and then the twin sisters from Maine plus Specter insisted that it go down to 700 or they wouldn't vote for it. In the end, we got 3 Republican votes for a package that was half the size that it needed.